Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, welcome back to my video. I'm Kartika Febriana from class 4D English Education Department, UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. And here in this opportunity, I want to review some articles, which is very useful article, especially for those of you who are a teacher or who want to become an English teacher, because this is very useful if you apply some of the learning methods that I will describe through several articles in this video. Without any further ado, let's start with the first article. So the title of first article is Improving the Speaking Ability of Secondary School Students Through Community Language Learning or CLL in the Indonesian Context, written by Mulyati Ibrahim and Andi Miftahul Maulidil Mursyid. This research aimed at finding out whether or not community language learning or CLL improves speaking ability significantly better than the conventional method. The simplicity of this method represents the use of counseling learning theory to teach the language. CLL draws on the counseling metaphor to redefine the roles of the teacher as the counselor and learners, the clients in the language classroom. It means that CLL is one style of technique in learning speaking English, is giving advice, assistance, and support to students who have a problem in speaking or is in some way in need. The author's major findings that the use of CLL has improved students' speaking ability. This was evidenced by the students' post-test average score mean of 12,500 experimental group and 65,885 control group evaluated as good. Therefore, both groups contribute to improving students' speaking ability. This means that the use of CLL in English classes with an emphasis on speaking ability has contributed significantly to students' speaking ability over traditional methods. In short, community language learning or CLL greatly improves students' ability to speak English. Second article is a collaboration between communicative language teaching or CLT, audiolingual, and community language learning or CLL approach in teaching and learning English at SMA 1 Singorojo Kendal, written by Haryani and Ainur Roshida Azmi Putri. So the purpose of this research aimed to investigate and analyze the collaboration of communicative language teaching approach, audiolingual method, and cooperative language learning method, which were applied during teaching and learning process in 12th grade of science to students in SMA 1 Singorojo Kendal. The author's major findings, this study concludes several points. That first, teacher has paramount roles in creating interactive language teaching. Teacher as controller, teacher as director, teacher as manager, and second, teacher also pay attention to the implementation of those components towards the recent curriculum 2013. Students were encouraged to actively involve during learning process. All of the classroom activities almost done by students. Third, the implementation of approach and method should be considered based on students' need. Besides that, students also could improve their vocabulary, although the implementation of CLT approach is still unoptimally achieved by students. Both of teacher and students are actively engaged in achieving the objective of the material. Third article is improving students' speaking skill by using storytelling technique at the 11th grade students of SMA Tuturi Handayani Makassar, written by Yahuda Lohing, Mulyati Ibrahim, and Sujarwo. So the purpose of this study was to improve the students' speaking skills by using storytelling technique at the 11th grade student of SMA Tuturi Handayani Makassar that consists of 2 students. Speaking is one of the important skill for students in language learning. By the speaking skill, students able to speak up in conversations among 2 or more people, exchange information, or they have communication needs, especially in English conversation. Technique that can be applied in the teaching and learning speaking. Storytelling involves two-way instructions among tellers with one or more listeners, so speaking skills needed to be taught. The author's major findings is the using of storytelling technique, successful improving the students' enthusiastic in speaking skill. It can be proven on the result of the research on the cycle 1 to cycle 2 in the article. Moreover, the improving of student speaking skill in cycle 2 caused by the appropriate topic that related to students' needs and students' background understanding that supporting with the students' motivation. Therefore, the research concludes that the using of storytelling technique for the 11th grade at SMA Tuturi Handayani Makassar can be applied to improving students' English speaking skills. For the fourth article is the effect of communicative language teaching and audiolingual method on English speaking skill across different learning styles, written by Abdul Ghafur, Inyoman STK, Utami Widiati, and Punaji Setio Sari. The purpose of this research aimed to determine whether there is an interactive effect between learning methods, communicative language teaching or CLT, and audiolingual method or ALM, and learning styles such as visual, auditory, and kinesthetic on English speaking skill. The author's major findings, this study concludes several points. That first, there is a significant difference in the English speaking skills of the students taught using CLT and those taught using ALM. Second, there is no difference in the English speaking skills among students with different learning styles such as visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Third, there is no effect of interaction between the instructional methods or CLT and ALM and learning styles on the English speaking skills. Fourth, this study found that the implementation of ALM seems to more effectively develop students' English speaking skills in a relatively short period of time in accordance with the exciting time allocation as stipulated in the 2013 curriculum. And the last, the study found that the dominant learning style possessed by the students had no effect on their English speaking skills. Next, we are going to fifth article. Is grammar translation method current practice in ELF context? Written by Milawati. So the purpose of this article is to report the findings of a case study investigating grammar translation method or GTM through mother tongue, match isolated words and putting words together in grammar class to scaffold students' learning. Findings indicate that among three types of GTM, the use of mother tongues was frequently used to give instruction. Other findings show that much isolated words were used to introduce new vocabulary, and putting words together were used to explain topic discussion. Some changes to create effective GTM through other types of GTM was also discussed. The author's major findings: GTM provides students to translate sentence directly for practicing translation and learning the application of tenses at once. The three strategies of GTM, namely mother tongue use, rich vocabulary, putting the word together, are inseparable to reach successful learning goal. The mother tongue as a crucial factor in scaffolding students to understand the material given in grammar lesson. Meanwhile, they also need a rich vocabulary and the strategy on how to put words together in the order they could achieve their learning targets. For the sixth article is the use of Instagram in the teaching of EFL writing, effect on writing ability and students' perception. Written by Astiti Dwi Handayani, Bambang Yudi Cahyono, and Utami Widiati. This study is aimed at filling in this gap by investigating the effect of the use of Instagram on students' ability in writing opinion essays. Besides, this study is conducted to know the students' response on the use of Instagram. The research questions are formulated as follows. 1. Does the ability of the EFL students in writing opinion essays improve after being taught by means of Instagram? Which of the EFL students improve more in their ability in writing opinion essays? after being taught by means of Instagram. 3. What is EFL students' perceptions on the use of Instagram in the teaching of writing? The author major findings, it can be concluded that there is a significant difference between the EFL students' ability before and after the implementation of Instagram. It means that the students get better writing ability after the implementation of Instagram. In addition, the correlation testing showed positive correlation, which means the students who had higher score still had higher score in the post-test. Similarly, the student who had lower score in the pre-test score still had lower score in the post-test. Regarding the result of questionnaire, the result shows that the students had positive response toward the implementation of the Instagram. The students feel that Instagram was meaningful and fun to be implemented in class. However, the implementation of Instagram, it is necessary to give peer or teacher feedback offline due to the negative responses of some students. Next article is EFL students' preferences for corrective feedback in speaking instruction across speaking course levels, written by Nurul Atma and Utami Widiati. The aim of this study is to investigate the students' preferences for corrective feedback in speaking instruction, which includes perception of corrective feedback, types of errors to be corrected, timing for correction, source of correction, and types of corrective feedback. Specifically, it compares the students' preferences in terms of those aspects across different speaking courses. It can be concluded that the students' willingness to receive corrective feedback and the role of the corrective feedback seem to be unquestionable, although some of the freshmen and sophomores are embraced when they are being orally corrected. It does not influence their willingness to receive correction when they are making errors. In addition, neither freshmen nor sophomores differ in the ways they perceive all errors to be corrected, yet certain domains, that is grammar and phonology need to be given more emphasis. In terms of timing of correction, the freshmen and sophomores prefer delayed feedback provided after they finish the speaking activity. The most preferred correction is one which is delivered by the teachers. Finally, regardless of these different speaking course levels and types of error, explicit feedback was perceived as the most preferred corrective feedback, whereas paralinguistic signals were the least favored ones. Okay, next is challenges of e-learning during the COVID-19 pandemic experienced by EFL learners, written by Muhammad Mahyu. The purpose of this study is to find out the challenges confronted by learners in Taiba University, Saudi Arabia, during the transition to online learning in the second semester of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and explore possible solutions and suggestions for future virtual learning. The study answers the following questions. First, what are the challenges of online EFL learning, and what will be the provided facilities to students during online learning? Second, can students in remote towns get a good quality of internet connectivity during online learning? Third, how to make online English classes more engaging, motivating, and innovative during e-learning? Fourth, will EFL learners become familiar with online platforms and get enough experience and confidence to continue online learning? Fifth, do the recent social media applications facilitate students' technical skills needed for online education? And so, the study found out that learners encountered difficulties in accessing the Blackboard platform. About 30% of learners missed the classes and other tasks using Blackboard, and they shifted to alternative application during online learning. The study reveals that the major challenges encountered by EFL learners in online learning were technical issues. Some learners faced internet connectivity problems, accessing classes, and downloading courses material problems. Online exams could not be opened on learners' mobile phones regarding language communication issues. Learners could not effectively interact with teachers during virtual classes of English language skills as revealed in learners' responses to open-ended questions. If a learner's satisfaction with online learning is low, less than 50% are satisfied with online learning, whereas 14% of learners are not satisfied with online learning, and 43% of learners are not fully supporting continuing online education if there is no crisis. Next article is about EFL students' perspective towards online learning, barriers and alternatives using Moodle or Google Classroom during COVID-19 pandemic, written by Like Raskova Oktaberlina and Afif Ikhwanul Muslimin. This study aims to describe the barriers to online learning faced by students and their alternatives to overcome them. The questions for the survey are: 1. The nature of e-learning is not impersonal. 2. E-learning is less effective than a face-to-face meeting. 3. I'm not comfortable with the lack of interaction with other learners or a trainer. 4. I have several inabilities to work with computers. 5. I experience physical health barriers such as eye strain. 6. I have a low internet bandwidth. 7. I have too many distractions, example games, YouTube, etc. This research likewise found that there are 3 main barriers in using e-learning, identified from a group of EFL students of UIN Malang. The 3 barriers are lack of personal touching in e-learning, lack of technology and internet connectivity for both students and teachers, and physical barriers for both students and teachers, such as a strain. This research also proposed the way to overcome those barriers, in which to overcome lacking personal in touch in e-learning, the teacher must consider the overall learning goals, consider students' various distinctive learning styles, offer quick feedback, maintain more interactions. To overcome the lack of technology and internet connectivity, the teacher must try converting video material to audio and use text, but not too much. Last but not least, to overcome the physical barriers, the teacher must give students a break while enrolling in an e-learning activity. For the last article is the use of dictogloss technique on ELT classroom, an experiment study of students' listening comprehension, written by Mutmaina, Andi Asrifan, Ahmad Aliakin, and Chuduria Sahabuddin. The purpose of this research was to find out whether or not the use of English dictogloss technique is able to improve listening comprehension of the second-year students of SMP Negeri 3 2 P2. From this research, it can conclude that the application of dictogloss technique in listening comprehension was interesting for the 8th grade students of SMP Negeri 2 P2. It was supported by the mean score of students' answers in the questionnaire, which was classified as an interesting category. Therefore, the researcher puts forward conclusion that the use of English dictogloss improves the students' listening achievement at the 8th grade students of SMP Negeri 3 2. Okay guys, I think I had already explained all of the articles and some information of each article. So this is the time for me to closing this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and comment this video. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.